Donation in our recording tonight. Hello, hello. I am Maggie, your Dragon Ascension guide. And let me just fix the curtain here. We are in Meet Your Dragon. This is September 20th, 2024. And we are in the middle of eclipse season. Eclipses are like wild cards. They bring about things in our lives, right? That could be a little drastic, could be a little different. And it tends to make us get a little antsy, a little emotional, even a little angry if we haven't dealt with some things that have been buried. So this is really great that you're taking this time, even in all that you do tonight, is do some of the breath work, do some of the relaxation, and absorb the information. We take in information in many ways. And so even in our psychic senses. And so some of you might hear things more, you might see things, and also seeing with your eyes closed, repetitive numbers, different signs. That's also, your clairvoyance, your claircognizance is just that knowing. Yeah, but sometimes you just will hear like something that sounds outside of you, and it's not your ego. So you start to pay attention to the little parts of yourself that are psychic, that are mediumship. And when it comes to meeting your dragon, you might then sense parts at first. You might not hear a name, and some of that right away, or you might not see things right away. But what you might then start to experience is them coming into your world after tonight. So, like when you fall asleep at night, you might sense their little heads right here. They tend to rest here and protect us. um, you'll start to see things more in nature as well. And we'll be talking about our elemental dragons in just a minute. So before we get any further, I am Maggie Wilcox, and I've a Reiki master teacher for 25 years. So a lot of the work that I do with dragons is of a healing nature. And there's some classes that go into healing and learning ways to heal with dragons. But most of the beginning classes are about healing yourself and bringing in your power. And so when I first started working with the dragons in earnest, it was about 2020, and my life was falling apart and all those beautiful ways it tends to happen. And the dragons found me. And when they found me, it was literally a video that was on my crushes page. I wasn't sure why I was drawn to him, sort of that energy. That someone else had posted on his timeline, wasn't even his, but it was Sophia, a great mother, and we'll learn a little more about her also, who was then falling down this cavern, almost like you would think of, Christ, dying for other sins. That was a little bit like doing that for humanity, but then her dragon lover swoops in and rescues her, and they make an agreement. So they make an agreement to, hey, how about we help humanity instead? And, we'll work in the void and with the dragons and the elementals. And so the earth, has probably been built and rebuilt several times. There's been many epics. We are coming to an end of an epic. I talk a lot about this in Dragon Earthwork, where the beginning of the epic would have been, and this is the epic of an enlightenment. Okay, it would have started with like 5,000 years ago with Eastern Hinduism, some of those pictures of aliens and whatnot and their ships. So those epics of love and We're coming then to the tail end of it. It's like a bell curve, and things get a little, challenging as we approach that. Um, and so some say we're moving into the 5D. And in order to do so, though, we wouldn't have bodies. So we're finding this sort of in between, right? So we can coexist in between the worlds, but still be a part of it because we've chosen to be here on the planet to help it. And now more than ever, I'm really talking with my hands tonight. Now more than ever, the dragons are waking us up to this deeper knowledge, and they're helping us to build and repair parts of the earth that frankly are quite, beat up and drained. And not only that, we learn then to come into our own sovereign divinity so that we are outside what we would consider the matrix and what we're supposed to be doing to make money, to raise a family, all these things, right? And so we find then that we can create within us, within our own heart womb portal. When we then activate our own dragon body, we like almost become these superheroes of this extra dragon dimension that overlays our being. It's quite magical. Okay, I'll stop. Let's get into the prayer. I knew I would just be talking. All right, here we go. So ground and center your beings and any stones you want to have in the process to help you do that. We will be going up and down, right? Well, both. I keep feeling like there's a hair here, but there's not because I don't have hair. So there's just something tickling. It's fun. It's playful. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Think of your feet, grounding the feet to the earth, grounding your cords to the earth. Take a breath now. Exhale, release even further your cords down, down, down into Gaia's heart, her crystalline core. And here you can wrap your cords around this giant crystal, if you will. And we call on Great Mother Dragon Sophia and Great Alpha Dragon. And we now open our hearts to you in your miraculous ways. And we powerfully ground ourselves to the earth and accept this healing tonight for our greatest good. We now call in and command the Seraphim, Sophia's dragons, to perform 222 net releases for each of us in our individual containers. It's like these giant fishing nets that come up from below the feet and then just pull things off of our being. And the dragons are assisting in doing that 222 times. Clearing out what no longer serves us in our energy bodies, our energy fields, the spaces in which we exist simultaneously. We now call in and command the Melchizedek dragons to remove and escort all remote viewers, negative energies, entities, fractals thereof, manipulations, transmissions, frequencies, viruses, any old contracts from past lifetimes that no longer serve us, anything else that's not for our greatest good, through all space and time and every dimension and parallel realm. I command the dragons, the highest light, to now perform over each of us 222 dragon temples of protection. And may we be protected in all ways. And you might also call on your archangels, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, Uriel. Michael. Sandalphon is coming up from the earth, and Metatron from the sky. And now you are protected in all ways, from all sides, from top and bottom. And we now are ready to open our hearts and to welcome in all of our ascended master mentors, all of our dragon guides tonight that are here for our greatest good, beings of unconditional loving light. We ask that they be with us now to assist us in welcoming in our full potential, our highest selves, our unified bodies into this space now as we move into our sovereignty, our divinity, and all that is, and so be. Hi, whoever just entered, please mute your mic. We just did our sovereign prayer. Yes. And so the dragons have helped me in many miraculous ways. So throughout tonight, I'll drop a little story here and there and how they have really just brought so much beauty into my life. And I was raised in organized religion. When I busted out of that, I got a little into paganism, but I was really into Gaia and the earth. And then I became a Reiki master and I got into angels. And, it comes full circle, right? But I find that I wasn't really drawn to dragons necessarily as you might perceive them to be, like in a gargoyle way or in a dark way. The way I perceive them is very much full of light and colors and energy and fun. And there was a time when we think about dragons and when they were on this earth around medieval times, that they were being persecuted, captured, but they had already been here for quite some time. They helped build the earth. Imagine them weaving and threading webs around the earth, bringing all of the rocks and asteroids from everywhere together for the earth. Yeah, we really are made of stardust, and there's a lot of stardust on the planet. And then I had posted in the event a little timeline. You get into some of the earlier days when like all of Africa was green and there were dragons. Um, and then there's times then where Lemurians were more here and they were more ethereal. They were more one with the elements. Their language was a little bit more like a light language or hardly a language at all because they spoke very psychically. And then the Atlanteans came in, which were a bunch of different races, and they just started building all this incredible technology and with the crystals. And so there's dragons definitely in the Atlantean realms as well as the Lemurian realms. Lemurians more shapeshifted into dragons and rode dragons. But there came a time where the Atlanteans, because the Atlantean civilization is quite old, even older than Egyptian, and there came a time where they were going to fall because they weren't as great. That wasn't the golden age. The golden age was falling. But during the golden age of Atlantis, it was very rich with all the love and grace of the dragons, and they helped us in many ways. And I even have a certain oracle deck that shows the different houses. I think there's 12 that they represented, and there were different archangels also involved with that. And then, yeah, so the bad Atlanteans are the sort of greed that tends to happen with civilizations and societies. Cause the Lemurians, then they did have a war at some point with each other, but then the Lemurians went into hiding. And so you may or may not know the history of the Mu, but the original Hawaiians, the Polynesians came in with their bloodthirsty energy. And that's also when the Lemurians had to go into hiding. And then there's Lemurian colonies in Shasta, and you can even see in Google Earth like a tunnel from Hawaii to California. These are all my beliefs, okay? I have a lot of manuals and different things on this, so I'm just giving you a little taste of the knowledge. And take it in, how it resonates with you. But the Lemurians basically were a lot like fairy, where they went into, the mountain, the hills, and into hiding into the different dimensions. And so the earth is almost like a jawbreaker, as are our chakras. So there's many layers to it. And so they went down lower. And then what? And then what happened? And then, yeah, the dragons then also had to do the same. They had to go into hiding. They had to go into the ethers. They had to go into the different dimensions until we were ready. Okay. And so I feel we are. There are dragons in many dimensions. And so if you get the Diana Cooper, this is a really good starter, all right, for dragons. This is what the deck looks like of cards, but she also has the book. And it's not just like the book that accompanies the cards, it's a bigger book. Dragons, Your Celestial Guardians by Diana Cooper. But I thought I'd show you some of the cards from this deck so we can get to know them a little better and understand. And so we have our main elements: earth, air, fire, and water. You know, notice how he's stepping into ley lines. And so that's a lot of the work that we'll be doing as you grow into your dragon bodies and whatnot. But the ley line energy is full of all of these elements as well. So all of these dragons in many sizes, forms. So oftentimes when you see them work on you, which they'll be doing tonight at the end of our meditation, it might be like little small beings, you might see one giant being. But they'll come in a form to try and not scare you. Water dragons, you could see here like a fall of Atlantis. We definitely used to have predominantly watery lifetimes, lived in water, worked with water, as well as the crystals, air dragons. Okay. And so earth dragons then help us ground into our bodies. They help us heal physically. They help tap into our abundance. They help us create our realities. Yay, I love that. Air dragons then help us purify the mind, the mental thought, connect to our higher mind. What else? Cleanse with our breath. Lately, as a Reiki practitioner, I would trace symbols over my drinks and food. Lately, I do a lot of this, my divine breath over things. And we'll do a dragon's breath tonight that I'll teach you. But they help you to get out of the old stories you tell yourself. So when you're having any of these issues I'm talking about, you want to then call on them. Say, oh my gosh, would you just help me get out of my head tonight, right? And then the fire dragons, they don't burn. Their energy is like liquid gold, so see it that way, unless you want it to. And then there's that. So when I use them for protection, I might see them going into the ley lines ahead of me, clearing my path, protecting me maybe with a ring of fire so nothing can get to me and my family and house. Even your car, see it as moving with you. What else? We can then, blow blessings of fire into people's crown. I can warm up the solar plexus when you're having trouble manifesting or getting things done. So fire dragons are super fun. And then the water dragon elements, then they help our DNA. They help the helixes to spin. They then allow us to come into our full emotional bodies. And so during Atlantean times, when there was healing, there was different healing chambers. And before you could even go into the crystal beds and some of this deeper healing, you had to get your emotions and head right, your therapy. And so they're there to help with that. when you're in the water and then you see the rainbow colors. It's just really beautiful. Someone's trying to come in, but it's too late. It's too late. Okay. All right. What else? Here we go. So then what happens is the elements start to mix. And so you'll get like an earth and water dragon. All right. So this dragon, oh, I need to put my glasses for this one. This dragon helps you to get a fresh start, a new foundation, growth, opportunities, nurturing your abundance. So you're thinking of, your abundance, your seed planting that you might be doing, whether it's in yourself or you have like a crystal, like a little egg-shaped crystal. And then the water then is nurturing it, right? It's helping it to grow. Yeah, so different dragons have different benefits. So like the earth and fire dragons, for instance, work with you to clear the fifth dimensional ley lines that are even deeper below us. They help you then to be in service so that you have the energy, the power to then bring it into the physical, the earth, So they all have these wonderful benefits, and there's so many cards, so I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but this is a really great deck to have. Highly recommend. And then from there, you get into the colored dragons. Okay. And so when we think of rainbow hues, when we see rainbow hues, think of an energy, a being that accompanies each of those. See, feel, and know it's coming into your being. So each of these colors then obviously can represent a chakra as well. But like green might also be for nutrition, for finding your keys to abundance. The rose pink dragon holds those beautiful rose hearts that remind you of Mother Mary, Kuan Yin. And it's a very Andromedan dragon as well. You could see, the petals dancing about of the rose. Andromedan dragons to me seem to be pink. They play music like a cricket. Okay, so lots of dragons to play with there. So different ones might come into your sphere in the meditation. And then you get like dragons that have like a higher dimensional frequency, usually fifth to seventh dimensional. This one helps bring in the royal codes. It's very like Knights of Templar, Cathars, Mary Magdalene vibes, Christ vibes. Awakening though to your own majesty, your own cloak of power, which is super awesome. And then I really like to work with Thor's dragons. And so these particular dragons of Thor's, because he has a few, are red, black, and gold. And so you know how red and black are the sign for warning and snakes, so when you need like some good protection around you, call on Thor's dragons. Okay. Yeah, they just help remove, sometimes when you are a light worker, things are drawn to you, okay, that aren't always for your greatest good. And so I find when I bring in these beings that are just so strong, so loving, I have less fears. When you have less fears, you're drawing less crap to you, right? I mean, it all goes hand in hand. A lot of these dragon tribes we go deeper with in some of the future classes, like the crystal yellow dragons. They put little things into our crown chakras when we open up our light body, and they're all crystalline in their spines. So when you start to notice dragons, you'll start to notice what they're holding, their cards. Yeah, like here he's got a beautiful little butterfly. This is the silver and violet flame dragons of Metatron. And so see the Metatron symbol. So I'll use them to imagine it's like over a door or below me so that the violet flame can flow through. These dragons are helping us with bigger things. This one will help you connect to your Atlantean lifetimes, the golden Atlantean dragons. There's a lot of golden dragons. There's the golden Christed dragons, the solar dragons. That's a lot of the energy that's obviously coming into our own golden age now. Magenta rays are also very beautiful and coming in right now. But see how you could start to notice like their horns and different parts of them, and their details. Yeah, hopefully you can see that. Let me find a dragon that's got some good energy. So also the archangels like to work with the dragons and see how huge this energy is. So this is as we're getting into the 9th to 12th dimensional frequencies. We're getting into the different archangel dragons. We're getting also into the starseed dragons. So this is Neptune's dragons who actually help with our waterways here because Neptune is also a watery planet. And I believe they connect to the seahorses, the whales on our planet as well. And there, of course, the whales are super beings, right? Yeah, the whales have been here so long. And then this is like that net release we were doing in the beginning to show you. This is the dark blue galactic dragon to give you an idea of what it could feel like to take things off of you. This is a black dragon from Saturn. So there's many dragons from around all of the constellations as well. And the book is going to have even more of them. Okay. Got Pleiadian dragons, Orion dragons. And then we get into Source dragon and these big daddies. See how it's holding the whole universe in its hand, all of the constellation probably, and above its head. And look at those horns. Look at its wings, its energy. Their tails then are used for grounding. Just beautiful energy. And then this Omega dragon is what you might think of as the mother of Sophia. She's got the egg, right, of creation here. I tend to see her as black, more like the void, but I think she is both. Okay. And so, and then you have Alpha, this other big daddy. So when creation dragons are coming in, another creation dragon that's not in this deck is Odin. And so when the creation dragons come in, it's because the planet at the time is going through a big metamorphosis. Okay. And I don't know if you noticed, but the sky was very lit today with clouds and dragons. And I just feel like there was a big stir of energy out there. I do feel like they're showing themselves more, as well as the ETs and the flying things. And yeah, keep your eye on the sky. Okay. Do a little prayer chant and call them in. Then keep your eye on the sky. So for Sophia, she is the void. She is the zero still point. She is our divine creatrix. She brings us back to ourselves, our power, our sovereignty, our femininity, our attraction. And then the masculine dragons, then, so she is the void, where the masculine dragons are the form. And then they bring in that seed to fertilize, right? Is what we think of. But what they're also doing is bringing in gold and flames and those things that are needed on the planet right now, and specifically clearing our ley lines. And so we start then channeling that and helping the dragons do that. Yeah. Ooh, you took photos of dragon clouds. Yeah. Florida's really great for that, isn't it? A lot of clouds. Other dragons for protection might be like the rainbow ones. If you want to see like rainbow light around you, or you want to do like a meditation to call them in by each color around you, that would be really cool too. But I also send the rainbows into the earth. Um, Much like in Reiki healing, when you use a Honjaza Shunin between you and so to send energy, you can also use like a rainbow bridge and the dragons that way. Um, yeah, goodness. Okay, so the dragon tribes are at each portal, vortex, major intersection of energy on the planet. And so you think of the longitude and latitude lines that we know of that helps us navigate, all over and has for a while. They say that our maps are not accurate, and that's a whole nother story. But when you look at like a Merkaba, which is very much like this pyramid, okay? But then it has a whole nother bottom, right, that matches it. And if you think of like those symbols like all over the planet, that's what this grid looks like to me. And you'll see it. And I think it might even be like Gaia, the TV network symbol, or, but you'll see that symbol a lot. It looks like sort of a flower of life a little bit. But there's this grid all over the planet. And so where those areas intersect is where you're going to find a lot of potent energy. Well, our ancients knew this. And so they didn't have maps, right? But they still built pyramids and amazing temples in these areas that had this energy. So I talked about the Polynesians invading in Hawaii. That's very similar to what went on then in England as well with the Viking energy and whatnot. And so some of those sacred places, wells, vortexes, Glastonbury, are also have a lot of tragedy. And then so many people are traveling there that it might even be draining it. And hopefully there's more ceremonies to give, and to repair. And I think that we are coming into that awareness. But you might find, and with the poles shifting too, that some of these vortexes have also shifted. So that's, some things to think about. And so I want you to think about the nearest kind of hot energy spot near where you live and go sit in it. And it can even be by a river. It could be, near a cave. But you notice as you approach slowly, your energy shifting, or you'll feel the energy. Sometimes it tugs and pulls in ways that don't feel good. And that's, what the Bermuda Triangle is. So they're not all happy emitting for or just portals that you can walk through, but sometimes it's like it sucks the energy out of you. And you'll know that when you're in an area that doesn't feel right. And I think again, the ancients would call that like bad fairy energy. Don't go over there. You'll be taken to the fairy world, They say some civilizations have also been risen and taken to other dimensions. Yeah, that's for you to think about, right? Okay, so what else do we want to know? Let's do a dragon's breath. We're going to, let's practice this breath, and then I'm going to guide you straight into your meditation. So I did things a little different today, and that's okay. All right, so we know that when we breathe, it's full of oxygen, nitrogen, and whatnot, but it's also full of prana, also known as ki, chi, mana. And so that mana and energy can come from other ways, but it most definitely comes from the breath. And when we use the breath and fully inhale and completely exhale, we're also oxygenating our cells, we're allowing our neural pathways to open up, and we're bringing in, and allowing all that liquid gold, right? That beauty. And so at first you might find you're not breathing properly. So just bring your hands to your belly and take an inhale and see if that area rises. As you exhale, just allow it to lower and just sort of just draw it in at the navel ever so slightly. And then release, and you should start automatically inhaling again. Good. And now you practice a few rounds of that belly breath. It's also coming into low back. Now bring the breath even greater up to chest. Let it begin at the belly and then bring it up higher. And it becomes almost like a bellows if you have one hand to heart, one hand to belly, where you go up and down, up and down. Now allow the inhale to be even greater, longer, filling up all the capacity of your being. Exhaling, letting that go longer, extending your exhale. Keep going. And just start to notice, is it a little hard maybe breathing up here or in the belly? And you'll pay more attention to that. And you'll practice it daily, maybe every hour on the hour. Notice where your breath is. If anxiety comes up, it usually means, you're not breathing fully, because that's what happens, right? When we get nervous and anxious. Oh my God. It was so hot here, up to 118, that the act of breathing was painful. It was like this hot flame, like when you open the oven. And so I noticed like I wasn't breathing as well at that time, so just pay attention to your breath. And so let's take this deeper. And so we have our root chakra, which is our perineum at the base of spine. But where it is physically then is between our genitals and anus. And so just sort of pump there. All right. And this is bringing an energetic closing to that valve when you hold it. It's a little different, ladies, than doing Kegels, which you tend to do up the vaginal canal, but you can eventually combine it all. And so as you're pumping here, now just hold. And then what you'll do is you'll take that deep breath and then hold it at the top, still hold the root, and then release root and breath. We'll take this into levels. Good. And again, hold up the root, take that deep breath, release. That gets longer and better with practice. And now the tongue is behind the front teeth. And we're closing this whole orbit now. It's called the microcosmic orbit. There's the functioning governing vessel. It has a lot of different names. Ida and Pingala and yoga, which then goes this way. So we have all these different vessels as well as our chakras, which are the organs of it all. Okay. So with our tongue behind our front teeth and holding the root, and we take the deep breath. Then when we release, the tongue is rattling off the front teeth, and we're going to make a sound. This is our little dragon sound. We also use this, it's qigong. And so you close the root, take that breath, release, and it's like fast without the ache. How does that feel? All right, let's do it again. Ready? Close the root, tongue behind teeth, deep breath. Release. Gotta get that T in there, right? And a lot of times when I'm getting into my dragon voice, it's doing like a lot of that. And then we could flap our dragon wings to cleanse our energy. So these are a couple techniques that you can do and take with you today. And we simply go shoo, 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 shoo. Just clear your field. You could see your dragons doing that behind you if that makes you feel more comfortable. Okay, so we're going to use that dragon's breath in our meditation. So I wanted you to know it. And now let's just get really comfortable. Okay, we're going to get into it. We're going to fill up with a lot of energy. We're going to do a beautiful cleanse, and we're going to meet your dragon. Just checking. I got someone that is still waiting in the waiting room. Hello, hello. You've missed half the class, but we're about to start the meditation, so you can catch the All right, here we go. Grounding and breathing. We still have our protection prayer. We're in our individual containers of light, protected on all sides, below us and above us. And I want you to stomp the heels of your feet and clear the ley lines behind you. Stomp your left foot, clear the ley lines to your left. Stomp your toes, clear in front of you. Stomp your right foot, clear to your right. Also waking up the earth, air, fire, and water dragons below you in the ley lines, and they're swirling below you, excited for this experience. Good. And now, with those grounding cords connected to Gaia's crystalline heart, I want you to take a deep breath. And as you do, imagine you're breathing up the earth energy up your cords like a straw. Let it come up to the legs, the feet, the root chakra. Keep breathing until it overflows out the root chakra. Blessing it with the Gaia light. Good. Bringing it up higher to the sacral, to the belly chakra. Earth energy here. Let it center, spin, and overflow. Keep breathing. Another deep breath. Inhale. Breathe it up like a straw all the way to solar plexus and the diaphragm area. Good. Concentrate that earth energy there. Let it cleanse, clear, spin, and overflow. Beautiful. Another breath. Breathing up that earth energy all the way to heart. Really fill up the chest, the breasts, the armpits, the lungs. Let it circle around, cleansing and clearing and overflowing now. Beautiful. Bringing your breath now, diving a little deeper and coming all the way up to the throat. Let it cleanse, clear, spin, organize is what I'm hearing. Let it also go down and out the arms, the hands, create little pools of light in the palms. Good. And overflowing with the earth energy. Beautiful. And now breathe like a straw all the way up to the third eye. Let it gently overflow as it's cleansing and clearing all of the glands here, the brain, pineal, pituitary, letting it overflow. Another deep breath as you push that earth energy all the way up and out the top of the head and let it fountain out the top of your head. As you feel Gaia is now surrounding you, it cascades around you and down, and you can breathe it right back up again. Beautiful. Good. And now I want you to see, feel, and know a cosmic energy. It's a little cooler, might be a different tone or melody for you. We're going to ask that it come into our crown, this divine unconditional light. And I've been sensing a lot of golden dragons, Christ white dragons, source dragons, alpha dragons. We're asking that they come in and bless our crowns and begin to fill us up with light, and we allow it in. And it's mixing and merging with the earth energy and overflowing and cascading down our faces, backs of heads, filling up the third eyes and overflowing, the throat and overflowing, the arms, fountaining out the hands, going down the chest, mixing this golden light with the Gaia heart. Good. Overflowing and letting it go down, down into solar plexus, mixing and merging, down to our belly, our sacral chakra, mixing and merging, lighting up the kidneys, the ureters, all of our organs here. Allow it to overflow, going down into roots. Allow it to overflow out the roots. And exit down and out our legs. And let this divine energy exit out our feet. And here we are, bringing it in like the beautiful vortex that we are into the planet. Good. Now I want you to bring your awareness to your heart as you can merge here, heaven and earth in your mind's eye. So take a big inhale and now breathe simultaneously from crown to heart and from root to heart. So everything comes into heart. And you're going to exhale out the heart horizontally. Good. So bring it in, the beautiful heaven and earth vertically into heart with your inhale. Exhale it out horizontally. Just let it go all around you, behind you. Breathe it in again. Merging heaven and earth, creating the heaven and earth within you. For we are the microcosm of the earth. Good. And now we're going to add to this 3 rounds of the dragon's breath. Pull up your root chakra, tongue behind front teeth, deep full breath. Exhale. 2 more rounds. Squeeze, deep breath. One more. Squeeze, deep breath. Feel your energy getting lighter and lighter and lighter. grounding even further into the earth as you're also ascending upward. And we call now on our higher selves, our guardian angels and guides, and our dragon guides to assist us today. Good, good. And I want you now to go down deep into the core of the earth, past the crust, past the mantle, go down, down, down until you come to the core where there's a big cave entrance to one side. And to the other side, you see all these beings sort of carved into the mountain. This is the High Council. Their beings are very ancient. They slowly move and open their eyes and acknowledge you. Good. And they say that they're glad that you're here and that they're going to call your dragon to come forth to assist. And so you're going to see coming out of the cave your dragon on the count of 3, and it's going to come in a form that you can handle, in a size and shape that you can recall, in a color, in a smell even. You might hear a sound coming out of it, or even hear its name. 1, you hear it coming. 2, you see it also coming with its shadow. And 3, it appears. Notice your dragon now. Notice its energy, if it's more playful, if it's more royal or serious. Maybe it has a bigger job. Maybe it's just full of love, or the earth, or crystals. So pay attention. Ask it to choose its form if you're having trouble seeing it. Maybe it's even a glowing light, and I want you to follow this light now. Your dragon's going to take you down that cave, and you're going to go down that cave. It's very safe. It's very lit on the walls, and you're going to see ahead of the cave the exit, which is also lit, and it's going out into a meadow. And I want you to both go out into this meadow, and as you enter this meadow, you see a whole new earth, a whole new planet. You see other animals, more dragons, maybe animals you've never seen before, waterfalls, trees of abundance, fields of flowers, giant crystals planted in the earth. And right ahead of you is a great tree. And you follow your dragon to this great tree. And I want you to sit in the alcove of the tree. It's as if it's so old and grand that its roots are much like a banyan tree, and you can sit underneath them. And the earth is damp below your feet, but there's a beautiful chair here for you that's made of wood. Decide what kind of wood it's made out of. I heard oak, but it could be something different for you. And it's very comfortable to sit down here. And you're also just playing in the mud and your toes. And the earth dragons are here, and we call on them now to come up. They're coming up from your feet, circling around your body, healing you in every way, healing all of the earth energy of each chakras of your entire being. So healing you physically, grounding you, taking away aches and pains, bringing in abundance. Allow it to occur now. And then the air dragons are coming in, also from the bottom, circling around you, coming around, purifying all of your thoughts that are even carried in each chakra, cleansing you with their breath, flowing into every sphere, every cell. Cleansing and clearing, cleansing and clearing. Helping you to rewrite stories that are positive. Good. Let it clear the mind. See them, feel them, know that they're blowing into your ears. And now the fire dragons are coming in. And they're coming from bottom up to top, and they're alchemizing all of your being into gold and pure light. See them just blowing their little breath into each chakra as it's creeping up, 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 clearing and cleansing. Good. And then they're blowing into your crown, a beautiful blessing, cleansing your aura with the shoes. And now the water dragons are coming in from the bottom, circling around you, steam cleaning you, blowing out the little fire energy where needed as these tiny beings are swirling through your inner waters down to your DNA, spinning your helixes. Allow yourself to relax and take this all in. Allow this transition in your DNA, the memories of your past lives with the dragons to come forward for you now. And your own dragon guide is getting clearer and clearer as he is assisting you, she is assisting you. And they're showing you now the memory of your lifetime with your dragon. Notice what purpose you had together, where you were, what you were doing, if you were alone or guiding people. And a lot of times we also ride our dragons into portals and vortexes, healing, repairing. And so I want you to ask your dragon to guide you, or if you could get on its back. And you're going to enter a portal now that's being created right in front of you with all the elemental dragons, including the golden dragons that are here for us now. Good. And you're going to jump into this portal with your dragon, and you're going to come out into this lifetime that you spent with your dragon now. Ready? 1, you know you can. 2, allow it to happen. 3, jump in and come out to the other side. You might have swirled down a little cavern or two before, little grottos. When you come out, see where you're at, be aware. Ask your dragon to whisper it in your ear or show you if you need more clarity. And remember, this will get clearer and clearer with time. The more you work with your dragons, the more they will reveal to you. And they just feel so playful, like they want to be childlike. They want to play with the nature babies. Notice the feeling you get. Notice the area that you're perusing, that you're walking through. Maybe you're even coming to special tools that you had or the home you lived in at that time. Be aware. And notice if there's other people like you, other dragon riders, healers, cosmic beings, guideposts, whatever it is you're meant to be doing in this lifetime. Feels so good. Keep allowing your heart to lift and open. Ask to receive all the abundant love that you can then bring back with you to this lifetime. Healing all wounds that might have happened in this lifetime. Removing all negative contracts or people in this lifetime that might have followed us into this one. Just felt like that had to be said now. Removing chains that bind you even. Good. Beautiful. And you know you can come back here anytime. Ask to be led. And be specific. jumping on your dragon's back, maybe taking a tool or two with you or a book or crystal. And that portal is still very much in front of you. It looks a bit like a mirror or a lake, and you're going to now jump into it. Come back to me, come back to the future, and on the count of 3, enter back into your being. You're going to, 1, go through the cave as you jump through that portal. Thank your dragon, knowing that you're going to see that dragon probably in your sleep tonight. 2, thank the High Council. And 3, bounce back up your grounding cords and into your toes and into your being now. Slowly open your eyes and notice how you feel. Welcome. Hey. Yeah, that was a little different journey. It was a lot of fun. Let me know how you enjoyed the elemental dragon cleanse. We do a lot of that in Dragons of Avalon and learning their symbols and a bunch of things. But yeah, drop in the chats how you're feeling, how it feels to connect a little deeper to your dragon guide. Do you feel more aware? Is there any part of you that needs to know more? You know, keep calling on them, keep asking the questions, keep doing non-dominant journaling where you're writing something with your dominant hand and then you fill in the blank with your non-dominant hand. You know, after you've done your protection, saw the beings of unconditional love are coming in, and you call in your dragon specifically. And then when you get the deck, you know, the Diana Cooper deck, I have a few dragon decks. We talked about in the beginning how this is a really great one to use as a guide to help you recognize and learn about the different tribes. And I'm feeling them around me now. But, you know, you pull a card for your day, you know, and see what dragons want to work with you, you know. So this is the Black Saturn dragon. We are, you know, very much in this portal opening time through this eclipse season. And, you know, the planets are also working on us very greatly, and they do retrogrades and they sit in certain signs. And it seems like just so much is going on in our beings right now. But what's funny is today I even had mentioned I send energy every day to my clients that sign up for that. And I told them, I go, today is just one of those days of sitting in the darkness, of appreciating your dark feminine, dark masculine, um, and that it's okay when things are going wrong, even because you're going to really appreciate the good that's going to be coming in by our next eclipse, you know? And so enjoy all the dark spaces that are you. You know, do some things by candlelight, even go for night nature walks. Before this class, there was a giant red-tailed hawk just right out my window, who reminds me of this dragon right here. This is the earth and air dragon. So yeah, he is definitely both. And I pulled something that very much resembles him. You know, I feel like this is a sign for me, you know? Yeah, so very beautiful. So I love you all, and I appreciate all donations. You'll find those links in my bio in the event. I also dropped it to you in your messages, as well as the class schedule that's coming up. We have the Activate Your Inner Dragon, which is 4 parts. We get very detailed. We're bringing in different dragon tribes too that I'm teaching you about for each of those parts. And then we get into Dragon Earthwork, where we're helping to heal the earth, but a lot of it is through healing ourselves. So it's very much also a self-healing program. And then, yeah, we find our own portals, our own navigation. It's fun. It's so much fun. And then I have the healing courses, which will start January and February, Dragons of Avalon, Dragons of Lemuria, and those are specifically on how to heal with the dragons in different ways, um, and many other ways. And I'll probably do a dragon space clearing, which will be a free donation event like this around December 1st, so we could prepare, for the holidays and inviting in all the abundance of the winter solstice. So, yes, I'm excited. November 1st, psychic play shop. If you want to play more with seeing and perceiving your mediumship abilities, we're going to be doing that in a class as well. So all of that is available in my links, and I love you guys so much. I am so grateful that the dragons have ushered me, urged me to keep going with these dragon programs. And I look forward to uniting more with you. The stage, everyone. Have an amazing